welcome to the Mime Radio Show podcast. I'm Karen Hoyer.
And I'm James Donlin. Hello, Karen.
Hey.
And behind us, behind our images, somewhere in that darkness is Michael Diaz, the man with all the controls that makes us happen. So Michael, wherever you are, good morning to you, and we're glad you're here. Today, we have a fascinating guest from Switzerland. And I have so many thoughts in my head right now. I had a collision of thoughts because this man comes from a spot where I've been many times and was influenced and was mentored and so forth. And let me tell you something about Daniel Bausch.
He's the head of the
Dimitri School. Yeah, runs the programs at the Dimitri School in Verscho, Switzerland. Daniel Bausch graduated from Academia Teatro Dimitri in 1995 and also completed training in the Feldenkrais method. He has worked as an actor in several important theaters throughout Europe, including touring for 5 years with the Thun und Kirchen Wandertheater. I said that right, boy. An international company based in physical theater, puppetry, and classic clowning. In Berlin, he worked with Berliner Ensemble, one of Europe's most iconic theaters established in 1949, and at the Deutsche Oper with distinguished director Achim Ferrier. Oh, I didn't say that right. Daniel, I know you're back there in the darkness. Can you please pronounce his name?
Achim Freyer.
There we go. Very good.
Yes.
Who was a protege of Bertolt Brecht. He has also acted at the renowned Teatro Stabile in Brescia, Italy. Daniel has made numerous stagings of musical plays in collaboration with the University School of Music in Lugano, Switzerland. Daniel is now an important part of the Dimitri School. He was head of BA programs and since 2016 responsible for the advanced studies at Academia Dimitri. Daniel is a member of the Executive Council of the International Theater Institute, the ITI, and president of Swiss ITI. So let's welcome out of the darkness into the light, Daniel Bausch.
Bravo.
And there he is.
Hello, Daniel. Welcome to the Mime Radio Show podcast. We're so glad you're here.
Thank you very much.
We're a little bit imprecise, which is kind of ironic since we're dealing with a Swiss citizen, and we all know the reputation that the Swiss has for the clockwork.
Yes.
Progress, but let's keep it real.
I grew up at being a great admirer of Dimitri as a clown and a performer, and I'm so interested to hear about the school and your experience there as a student, and also what the school is like now. So we always ask our first question is about you as a performer, and this also applies to you as a director and a teacher also. But what do you do to prepare? How do you get ready to go out on stage or in front of your class or in front of the actors who are just about to put on a show? What's your preparation?
One of the most important exercise for myself is massaging my feet.
Really?
I have to go in the lesson where I teach in the classroom or in the theater rehearsal space, and I love to be there before all the actors or before all the students. And I really enjoy to be in an open, empty space. And in our school here, mainly the first thing I do is I clean. I clean up the place because there I don't know if it's Swiss or if it's German or whatever. It's just Daniel. I just love to start in a clean and empty space. So I clean up the space because there's often lots of rubbish or other stuff from other productions or I don't know what, and old socks and tissues, and I clean it away. Then I sit down on the floor, I take off my socks, and I start to massage my left foot, and then massage it, and then I put all my fingers between the fingers of the foot, and I stretch my foot, and then I do it with the other one. I lie down, and then I do one more exercise, which has to do with breathing.
Wow. So this is a little bit like, you said you like to clean. So in a sense, you're also cleaning your brain. And then maybe if you're working with your feet, you're opening the channels to let all that stuff come out of your head, like down through your body and out through your feet. So you're probably cleaning your own soul too before you start.
You're totally right. I don't see it. I mean, it's not that I consciously say, no, let's clean my soul before to teach you. I love, how do you say, rituals.
Yeah, ritual. Yeah.
And I think anyway, theater has a lot to do with this. And I also the teaching. I mean, I openly also confess, or I explain to the students that I love to create a lesson with rituals. So we have a beginning ritual and always one to end the lesson. And I do my own ritual to enter into the role of the teacher, because as you mentioned before, I unfortunately I have to sit a lot at the desk in front of a computer, and I have to organize and have meetings, blah blah blah, and to change my mind, my mind and my body into in teaching artistic mind with another feeling for timing, and another consciousness, for another quality of listening. I need to change. I need this ritual to change. And I also say the students the same thing. You are coming from acrobatic lessons, and you were outside, and you were smoking a cigarette, and you're drinking a coffee. I don't know. And now you're coming with this outside body into my lesson. You have to change mind and body, and then we are ready to do my improvisation class, or our improvisation class. But it needs a ritual.
Yeah. Wonderful. And who, like we're talking about the students or an audience. Let's maybe in this case talk about the students. Like who do they represent for you? Like, in other words, if you're a performer, is the audience someone to be tamed, or someone to be controlled, or someone to play with, or like, how do you approach the students? Like, who are they in your mind? What kind of force that you're trying to connect with?
I think there are partners, like playing partners. I can only propose them experiences which has to do with theater, and I see them as hopefully open, curious partners, and we are in this moment together in a research moment where I have a different role. Openly, I have to have, and I want to have, and I need to have another role. But we have to, in this sense, we have to be partners, because we have both to make a step towards each other. I always loved, maybe it's now a little bit esoteric to say this, but I love to, and I really mean it, to learn, that we learn together somehow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I say also, I tell them openly, I don't pretend I know.
Yeah. That's good.
I mean, I have some more experience because I'm 50, 51, 52, and they are 22, and for sure. But it's not that I know.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's a very, very enlightened way to be a teacher, to be a partner, and to learn along with your students. That's refreshing.
The great teachers are the ones that learn every day from their students, and I also say that a teacher is only good as their students. You're only as effective as your students are curious and, open and so forth. Yeah. What would you say? One more question.
Sure.
Do you think you're a patient teacher, or how do you control that impatience that might happen? Having been in the classroom myself for decades, your patience can be fleeting,
It's important to be patient.
Yeah. How do you deal with that elusive, important element of being a teacher, the idea of patience?
I mean, being a teacher here at the school, it's like it's a huge gift, because the young people, they have chosen to come, and so we are together in this bubble, working. And I think I'm very patient. I'm not patient when I have to work. Sometimes I have to work with school kids, which have to come because the teacher maybe had this idea, or they should do some theater, and then they're coming with some teenagers to Dimitri school, and I have to do a workshop with them, and it's awful because they don't want to move, they don't want to do that, and they're just giggling around, and it doesn't make any sense, and then I lose patience. Yes. And now I refuse to do it because I'm not good in it. I don't like it.
Yeah.
And I have colleagues. I have a colleague. He's a very good man, and he was in my class in the Dimitri school. Hans Henning is his name. He's German. Hans Henning Wolf, and we are working together. He's still working here at the academia, and he's doing all these jobs with the students. He's going to working with kids and with young adults, and he loves it, and he's very good.
Yeah, you have to find the place where you're best at as a teacher. Yes,
and that's really his thing. And he's like a warrior, and he is so impressive as a teacher, as a man, that they accept him totally. And I don't have the standing. I don't have the standing there. I just don't have it.
What do you feel that you're best at? Like if you had to put your best foot forward after having massaged it so nicely, what would be your
what is the subject that you teach at Academy Dimitri?
It's a subject which is called improvisation. And it's a special subject because it's taught through the whole 3 years of the bachelor. It's like in other schools it would be maybe called basic training in the first year, and then maybe acting or physical acting, however. So it's not, let's say, only about improvisation, how to improvise like Keith Johnston, this game, theater games, theater sports. It's a lot about the basic rules of acting. And
would you say it's how to meet?
So are you following those students from the beginning all the way through? You get to be access with the students as they go through the whole program.
Not anymore. I mean, in the beginning, in the first years, I was teaching the first and the second year. The third year was another teacher. Then he left into retirement, and we got a new teacher. And I had so many other jobs to do about the organization of the school that I asked, and it was not possible anymore to have the first and the second year. And so I have only the first year, and I love to work with the first year, I have to say. I really love it because they come and they're like raw, like they're like they have some wish, some dream, which they don't know what it is really, and they find it maybe not, and they're so different, and it's incredible to see them growing. I mean, when we see them, I mean, we all see them at the entrance exams, and they're like kids. And then I have them in the lessons, and I see them growing the first year, and then I see them always, and at the end, it's wow, they're different human beings. They're really.
Would you say that in terms of the idea of improvisation, that's really just offering them a way to look at the world in a different way, like how all the different parts fit, not only in the arts, but how this notion of being an actor or a performer and how that meets the world, because I would think that this idea of improvisation is, like you say, it's not just theater games and funny shows, but it's more about how to navigate the world, and in this case, the art. I would think that would be part of what the class would be about.
Yeah, I would love that it would be like this, and maybe it is sometimes like this in some moments, And when we do exercises, for example, about listening, about watching the surrounding, and through the exercises, maybe some of them learn to see where you move, where you live, where you walk around, to see the world with different attention, and you see the colors, or do you see the forms in a different way, and you start to let them in your body, and maybe and that is also part of the process, to be able to learn to listen what is the effect on your body when you let the color in, or
exactly.
form you're seeing inside, what does it affect you, and then be able to feel that, to listen to that, and then maybe also even be able to keep it for a moment and to transform it into movement and sound, for example.
So, Daniel, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got started? You were sharing with us that you grew up in a town that had a lot of really good theater, and that sort of helped you on your way. So tell us how you got started.
Yeah, in this town where I grew up is called Bochum. It's in a very industrial area of Germany, which got totally destroyed in the Second World War by I think U.S. Army, I don't know, or many different armies. Anyway, and had to reconstruct it. And it's not a beautiful area, but it is a very interesting culturally. And my parents, they were they are very interested in arts, in theater, and music, and that brought me many times in this theater. And I also went to a Waldorf school, Rudolf Steiner Waldorf school. And maybe you know that in these kinds of schools you do lots of theater. And my first big success was Midsummer Night's Dream, Shakespeare, Lysander, I don't know how to say in English. I played this man who is mad for love, and that was my first success on a stage. And in the 12th class of the Steiner School, you can choose to work for 1 year on one project. And I have chosen to work on a play by Peter Handke. He's a German writer. He just won the Nobel Prize 2 years ago, or last year, I don't know, Peter Handke. And he wrote a piece about Kaspar Hauser. And it's a German myth, Kaspar Hauser. And I wanted to play this play, and I had found a very good director from Bochumer Schauspielhaus. He directed me. And so I worked for 1 year on this play, and that was for me really like the big change, game changer. I don't know.
How old were you at that point? What point of your life when that happened? How old were you at that point?
17.
Yeah. So how did you find your way to the Dimitri School? Because I know you graduated from. Was this after college or after other studies, or?
No, that's a nice story, because this man, this director, Hartmut Gerke-Tschudi, he was a very good director in Bochumer Schauspielhaus. And I met him, and I went to him and asked him, do you want to direct this play? And then he decided, okay, yes, I will do it. We worked together, and he told me about Dimitri School.
And at that time, what was the Dimitri School in your mind? Like, maybe, also like what did it represent for you? Because this was several years ago.
I had no idea. I never heard about the school, nothing. And he didn't know also nothing. He just said, Daniel, you are very stiff actor. You should learn to move. You have to use your body. Go to the school somewhere in Switzerland, in Ascona, some Russian name, I don't know, whatever. Just inform yourself. And then I called by telephone the tourist information of Ascona, and I said, do you have a school with a Russian name here? She said, yeah, Dimitri. So I called at the Dimitri school. They gave me a number, and there was Gunda Gunda Dimitri, his wife.
Yeah.
And said, yeah. In 2 weeks, in 2 months, we do exams. You can come. So I went. They took me.
Wow. And how did that change your perception of theater, up to that point? Like, did your mind explode with new ideas and new approaches, or was it very familiar to you? Like, how did you transform in that period of time?
I mean, the first transformation for myself was not around theater. It was more about this going away from my parents, going into another country, to another culture, going to learn Italian. I didn't know one word of Italian. And I had a little van, and I was living in this little van on the parking behind the theater Dimitri, and it was raining for 3 months. So it was raining in my van all the time. Everything was wet, and that was the first thing of transformation. Was this wow, I'm by myself. Wow, I'm away from my parents, and wow, this nature. I mean, this is you know it, James. I don't know, Karen, you haven't been here, maybe, or you have been here. You haven't been here, so you should come once. I invite you. You should come. No, it's really a very beautiful nature here. So it's when you come to Bochum, it's really crazy, like palm trees and mountains and rivers, and it's like paradise. And then the 3 years of theater school opens up doors of creativity, of crazy ideas, and that is also a really strong part of the school, that we get some tools to open up creativity and to make it into something, give it a form, give it some kind of theatrical
Did you become less stiff?
For a moment, yes, but now I'm stiff again.
Go ahead, Karen.
I was just going to say, after the Dimitri School, then you sort of went onto a career in theater, right?
No, I went to go on with school. Sorry, I went on with school because I was interested in, like, let's say, German voice, speech theater, classical theater, because that is what I saw also in Bochum, and so I went to Berlin afterwards, after Dimitri School, and I had another half a year of intense lessons in voice and in role playing, rolling research, literature, and I had different lessons on the school. So and then I started my way as an actor through Europe, because it was always for me connected to traveling, to being in other countries. That was always something very important for me. I don't know why, but I always loved to travel in combination with theater.
And what was the trigger or the spark of energy that got you interested in teaching? I mean, had you always been, at this time when you were studying, did you always find interest in the process, or were curious about how things worked, or how did this career as a master teacher come about through this period of time when you were an actor? Well, like, how did that evolve?
Yeah, I mean, after the school in the first 10 years, I was very interested in the process, how it works, but only for myself. And I find this also a very difficult point of the work as an actor. It's a lot around yourself. But I was not interested, and I also didn't really had the idea to teach. It came by accident or by chance, let's say. By a friend of mine in Berlin, she asked me if I could give a workshop for German teacher in Berlin. I mean, like in Germany, music. People who are teaching music lessons, music theory, they suddenly had to do theater workshops. They were asked by the direction. So she was looking for people who could teach these teachers to do theater. And she asked me, and I started to work with these people, and I really liked it, and went really well. And so I went on, spread the word, and people asked me then. And then I went to Italy. I was teaching at Teatro Stabile di Brescia. That's very nice. And I did there, for example, a very interesting project where I was teaching professional actors in physicality and training, and then we did then the director came and he directed the play, and I was also an actor, and then we played it en suite 1 month, the show, and then the project was over. So that
did this love of movement, like you said earlier, you had been exposed to speaking theater, very, very strong classical theater. And then you went to the Dimitri School where you accomplished, some training in physicality and mask and mime and movement and acrobatics, all the things that they do at the Dimitri School. So did you find that you had come to love the physical side of it, or or that you enjoyed that aspect more than, or were exposed to something new that you found you had a talent for and so forth to allow you to want to teach in that kind of area?
Well, I don't know if I have a talent. Really don't know. I don't think so. But I don't know. And anyway, I got. But I got really, and anyway, you come from where you come from. So when I had 3 years of Dimitri, the 3 years of Dimitri was in myself, and I couldn't negotiate. I couldn't say. Sure, that's classical, no? You after the school, you say no, blah, 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 and you are critical about it for a moment. But then further on, you say, this was quite interesting. And I established my practical work on what I learned at Dimitri, and I think that's the right thing to do. You say no, and then you refine it again. It's like with your parents, and and then.
I would say I really like what you said about, like, when you're an actor, you think, I'm not going to teach. It's all about me as the actor. You have that. That's a part of the actor's ego and everything. But then when you actually are pushed into teaching, you realize how that's adds to yourself as an artist, that sort of develops another side.
I always say that good movement is good thinking. And it's funny, I learned that in watching a master teacher in drawing. And he said, good drawing is good thinking. And I started to think about that. And I said, well, good moving is actually good thinking. It's about choices and, what you choose to do. It's not about if you can, do many flips or touch your toes. It's really about what's going on up here, so.
I totally agree with you. And I say also the same thing. The difficulty which I see then, which happens sometimes, that then people get stuck in the thinking.
Exactly, right.
And then the body is not there anymore. So that is something you have then to find a way from the thinking into
open that channel
pure being, into pure being.
So what? I'm curious, what brought you back to work for Academy Dimitri, and what is it like to return to your alma mater and teach or run the school where you went to school, and have things changed a lot?
Yes. Good question. So I after my experience in Brescia in Italy, I passed, going back to Berlin, I passed by Verscho, and the former director, we were friends, and I told him, I teach now and I love it. It's really great, and I like to teach more. So whenever you need some teacher, I would be happy to come. And then they called me right after this, and they the school invited me to do a project about Greek tragedy. And I came for 1 month to work with the third year about a Greek tragedy, and that went really well. This was a nice period, experience. And then they invited me again to teach. So somehow then I had a contract, and I had a contract for 1 year. And we came down with my wife, Anna. She was happy to also change her life, and we had one son, so we came from Berlin, drove down and had a house in a small village with 50 people living there, just coming from Berlin Kreuzberg directly into this small village 600 meters high in Ticino. That was a big flash, a big change of life.
I would like to, we know some of the people maybe don't know much about the famous clown Dimitri, but we can maybe talk a little bit about him. But was his influence when you were there as a student, did his influence change over the years? Or like, let's say, he died recently, just within the last few years. Well, like, how did his influence or his magic, change over the time you've been connected with the Dimitri School and theater?
So his spirit was always very strong and very present. Also, when he was not very often there, when I did the school, he was a lot. He had to do with his own career, and he was playing a lot on tour, world tour, and directing, and he had really big career. But he was very present. You feel him in his spirit, his way of doing theater, and his way of seeing the life was always really very present. And it was a good spirit. I mean, it was really a nice spirit in this time. And now it also a spirit, but it's a different spirit. Now, he's dead, and also the co-founder Richard Weber, he was a very, very important person, because actually the pedagogy from the school got mainly invented or brought over by the experiences and the ideas of Richard Weber.
Can you talk briefly about who he was? Because a lot of people don't know this about his importance and his influence and his his ideas that went into the formation of the school.
Yeah. I hope I don't know the numbers really, but Richard Weber, he was very important mime artist from Prague, and he was part of also a really important company. And Dimitri and Richard met on a first mime festival in Berlin.
That was the Fialka troupe, correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
Lazadal Fialka was the troupe. He was.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So they met there in Berlin, and then somehow they had together this idea, let's do a school in Switzerland. And then Dimitri brought Richard here. First they had the idea to go to Zurich, and then luckily they came to this idea to do it in Ticino. And because Dimitri is coming from here, from Ascona. And as Richard is a mime artist, he invented a whole system how to of a body language. Also, for example, one really wonderful work is the jonglage with one ball.
Yeah,
and you're learning lots of let's say tricks or tricks with one ball. But it's really not to become virtuose nobody's expecting that you become a juggler, but you learn to use it as gesture, to be very precise about the gesture in the space, to put it on the right timing. You learn about timing, and a lot about your body working with one ball. And the ball is like you have to give it a content. It could be somebody, it could be a partner. Yeah.
This is very, it's interesting because I've used that exercise for 40 years in my classes, and I forgot where I was influenced to do that. And I'm sure it was with my experience around Richard Weber and Dimitri, because I used that exercise for decades. I did that exercise, but I forgot where it came from. But this is probably where it came from. Yeah, it's a great exercise. It's fantastic. Yes. Karen, do you remember doing that?
Oh yes, yeah. And I do it too. It's sort of like it gets passed along. But the videos that are on the website of your school, there are some pictures of the students working on that exercise, and it's quite complex and very interesting to watch, even though they're just at the beginning of studying it.
Yes. No, it's true, but it is only one part, and then there's a whole pedagogy about mime, the mime scenes, which is mute films, where you have to express without words. But it's not a classical pantomime, but it's miming, and then creating a mask and playing with the mask. So that's a whole, let's say, strong line of his pedagogy, which is going from the first day until the end of the school.
Would you say that Richard had more influence on the curriculum in the early days than Dimitri did? Dimitri was more like the soul and the spirit of the place, and Richard was more the pedagogy. Would you say?
Absolutely, I would totally agree. I mean, I had Richard the whole 3 years, every week, fully on, and I had Dimitri in the whole 3 years for 3 weeks clowning workshop. And Dimitri he didn't really like to teach. I think it was not his thing. I mean, he was a great artist, great person, and he did whatever we all know.
Yeah,
but he was not a big pedagogue.
Yeah, I always remember Weber
was a real pedagogue.
I think one of the most one of the greatest memories I have is the Dimitri Theater was a place where Dimitri would perform, weekly at different times of the year, and it was like a room in his house. The theater was like, what great experience in life to wake up in your own house and go downstairs and do a performance, so to speak. So he was performing in his front room. It was like the ultimate goal of an artist to have that comfort. And he had that. He built that.
Incredible.
Yeah.
It's time.
It's time for the gift.
It's time for you to open your gift, Daniel.
Oh, wow.
You have a special delivery from the Mime Museum.
Yes. Yeah. It came by post, and it was really incredible to get a package from Chicago. I never in my life got a package from Chicago.
Oh, okay. Well, that's where the Mime Museum is located.
Okay, so it's a ticket now for the museum inside?
We don't know.
It's a little package for you, a little gift.
Should I open it now?
Yes. At the Mime Museum, we have all sorts of different things that, have been accumulating. And so we're de-acquisitioning all these extra stuff. So we thought we'd send it back to you at the Dimitri School.
Wow. Okay, so I'm very excited. It's not a little thing which is now... Oh, wow. Thank you for joining us, the radio show. Please accept this gift from the Mime Museum collection and as a token of our thanks. Wow. Okay. Wow.
So maybe you have to read the label.
Okay. 2 flattened ping pong balls from a collection of 210 crushed ping pong balls found in the trash cans at the Academia Dimitri, thrown out by students who discovered that mouse juggling ping pong balls was not a requirement of the school's entrance exams.
And for those who don't know, Dimitri was an incredible juggler of ping pong balls with his mouth.
Yes.
But I guess
5 or 6 in the same time.
Yeah, and not all students have to do that, right? Is that correct?
We don't have to do it, our students, no. But it's wonderful. That's original from Dimitri School?
Yes.
Wow.
Somebody else besides you has been cleaning the studios.
Wow, thank you very much. That's great.
Yeah, you'll have to hang that somewhere in the museum there or the studio.
Yeah.
Okay. No, we can ask to put it in the museum from Teatro Dimitri on top of the restaurant.
There you go.
There. Thank you very much. That's great.
So I have a quick question. Yeah, James and I both have opinions about this, but what for you? What do you see as the relationship between clown and mime? Is there a relationship to you, and what is that to you? And I guess we would say clown and mime as a verb, to clown, to mime, or also as a noun, the clown, the mime.
Yeah.
I mean, the clown has this huge and very difficult duty to make laugh the audience, and the mime doesn't have to. I mean, he can tell any kind of story, but it's not, the aim is not to make the audience laugh about what you're doing. It's nice, but it's not. You don't fail when the audience doesn't laugh. The clown fails when there is a joke and nobody's laughing. So that's a huge difference. I find.
Interesting.
And
what about the physical side of it? What is there a connection between a good clown and a good mime? Are they both the same thing? What do you think? It's interesting that the school was started with a mime and a clown. You know, I mean, that's so interesting how the Dimitri School was founded by those two brains. You know.
Yes. I think a clown is really a very, very big place of projection, bigger than a mime, because there is a clown. You have many expectations on a clown. You have many attributes in a clown figure, which are codexes, which, like in Commedia dell'arte, you have like the special codex of this character, and the clown. You have also the different archetypes of clowns, and they're very, very present in ourselves. And I think there are big expectations on this, and and in the mime is more free, has more possibility to be free of these images, of these expectations, which you have on already codified image or knowledge about this character.
Do you feel that the clown must have the physical precision of a mime in terms of time and space, and perhaps the mime should have the spirit of the clown in terms of humanity? Do you feel that is there any connection there?
Sure.
So, and also, like,
we'll drink to that. Okay.
Yes, right, here we go. Mime wine.
Right, I have water. Daniel, sorry, can
you? Daniel, in the school, are those two disciplines equally important, mime and clown? Or do you have students that are coming there specifically for clown or specifically for mime?
Or something in between?
No, I think the mime is much more important in a sense of what we have as subject, as when you see the planning of the year. The mime, the theater without words. This chapter is a big chapter, and which is going. This pedagogy is going through the whole 3 years, as I said, as a big stream. Like improvisation, like acrobatics. It has a beginning and goes through the whole 3 year. The clowning is just, we have like 2 moments of clowning. One is clown entrée, is in the 2nd year, where you do kind of an interpretation of an already created clowning show with a really codified, very clear character. You are the white clown, or you are Monsieur Loyal, and you have to reproduce a scene which was created and which was written by this man Tristan Remy. He was a guy, he wrote, that, all these circus acts. And so you choose one of these with a partner, and you reenact this. In the third year, you have clown workshop, where you have to find your clown. Who is your own clown? How can you be funny? And then you create a scene with your clown, more or less. But so these are the two approaches to clowning.
Do you feel the clown is more elusive to accomplish the figure, or to accomplish the process of the clown? Is that a little more mysterious and elusive than with a mime, do you feel? Is it more, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Is it?
No.
Well, you just talked about how important character is to the clown, specifically. Yeah. And then the mime has more freedom. Perhaps the mime is more universal, meaning can transform into different areas more freely than the clown can, because the clown has very often props and things that are very concrete that they work with, whatever it is, and the character can be very concrete too. So I'm saying, to find that mystery and that magic of the clown, to me, it's perhaps more mysterious, because you have to fight through all these structures that the clown, I think, has more structure than the mime energy, which can be more mystical in some ways. I don't know how you feel about that.
I have the feeling of the clown act is more like like an acrobatic number. It has a very, 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 very precise timings.
Yeah.
Very, very precise actions and gestures, where maybe in the mime you are a little bit more free to.
See, I think that's the difficulty, because I always say, if a clown's not a good actor or a mime's not a good actor, you're not good. There's this acting thing that especially with clowning, because you just said it's so precise. Like a clown who's an acrobatic clown, I think that would be really difficult, or any kind of circus skill, because how do you keep the freedom and the spirit that lives within the structure, because if you miss the structure, you might break your neck. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then the clown has to have that sort of internal life too, that is from the acting side of it too. The mime is a little bit more universal in terms of taking on many different characters, maybe not as personal or internal.
Yeah.
What do you see? Where do you see the place of the Dimitri School in today's world? I know, I've been alive a lot of years, and I've seen how culture has changed, and I'm not too excited about where it's going at the moment. But art will probably save everything, we hope. But where is the Dimitri School now? Where does it come from, and what is the future? Where is an institution like Dimitri School? What part will it play in the world?
Wow, what a question.
It's like, it's where we are,
No, I mean, sure. I mean, where, as you said before, where we are in the world right now is not such a good place. Here I don't know how it's in the feeling in US, but in Europe, this war is very, very close, and is very influencing everything at the moment. Like it really changes everything, how you see and what is important in life. And we had this period of Corona, which you also experienced very strong, as I know, and that changed already everything. And now the war changes again everything. And who we are in this world, I can't tell you yet. I just feel that the young people which are now coming, or which are already here and which are applying for the next round, they grew up in a different world than us. Absolutely. That they are different, and they have different expectations and different questions, and we have to find a way to connect to each other. And sometimes I feel I have two sons. They're 12 and 14. So I have a connection. I have a quite strong connection to this world, and I don't have also this connection because even to my sons, I feel they have something which they live, which I don't know and I don't understand, and I don't. Sometimes my sons they show me a stupid joke on which they found, and they laugh totally, and I can't laugh at all. I try, but I cannot. It's really for me it's just stupid, and this kind of conflict of generations is coming more and more because we are getting older, and my colleagues at the Dimitri School are getting older, and they are always younger. And but what something is at the moment very strange because I'm not connected anymore to the professional world, where I have to prepare them for. I don't I don't really know from where they're coming.
Yeah. Are your students coming from all over the world? Are they mostly from Europe, or
mostly from Europe?
School? Yeah.
I mean, we have like a Chinese student, or we have now in the first year we have a guy. He's coming from Argentina, like really from the south, from the desert, and so he brings also totally different culture.
Do they seem to be hopeful, or are they cynical? Are they curious? Or what's the feeling of the young people that come to the school?
They're very curious, yes, and they have chosen to come. And they're good people in general. I have the feeling that they are more sensitive. They have less tools to protect themselves. I have the feeling they are more open, and we have to find a way to protect. It's like it's like, wow, the world is not so good at the moment. We all have to be careful, and they are on a very big research of identification in many levels, and because they're coming just from home, they're coming just from the home nest.
They're like you in your van with the rain when you're there, exactly, away from home, and
absolutely,
and they're like a treasure that is important for the world to come, and you need to protect them and help them grow.
What's the ratio of men to women? The Dimitri School probably doesn't have a criteria. Do you have to have more men? Like in traditional acting schools, they usually take more men than women.
Yeah,
but there's nothing like that at Dimitri School. And I'm just saying, are there more women applying? I always found in my lifetime that if I was always teaching outside of an institution, that I would always have more women students than men. Yeah. I'm just wondering, what is there a different? What's going on there?
We have more women in general. If Karen wouldn't be here, I would say, no, we have too many women in our. We have more women teacher. My colleagues are so many women, and the students are so many women.
Yeah, I think it's because women are more open to learning, and men are more like, we know it all already. No, I shouldn't say that.
I don't know.
I'm not serious.
In the past, men had the pressure to conform to a particular expectation of a culture. Like you had to be the man, you had to provide for the family. You couldn't fool around with art, in the old days. And so I think that's a little bit true today too. I mean, I see less men, looking into the arts, especially in theater. It seems.
Well, they should. It's really important. It's an important part about growing your soul.
Absolutely.
So Daniel, you've traveled a lot too. So here's a question for you. What's your favorite place that your work has taken you on your travels?
Mm.
Is that a fair question? Maybe not for him. No.
It's hard to have favorites, I think.
Maybe it's too political.
No. But I'm just trying to understand now at the moment what Maine's favorite, because one of the places which really changed my who I am was India. In India. Yeah, and I have been three months in India, and I have been on a tour and playing there, and then taking workshops, and this life in this country is just so different from what we are used to. I mean, it's really so different, and that really changed me.
How did it change you, do you think?
It changed my what does it mean to have space, to have to, I mean, also it valued the life I'm living now, because there you have no space between people. It's always noisy. You have no silence. It's always pressure. It's always stressful. It's very male orientated. It's very colorful. Everything is very, very, very. It's very tasty. It's very smelly. It's everything. It's extremely tiring also, this country, but also very, very inspiring. So every day you are totally tired, and you're extremely happy when you can close some door, and you can breathe. I mean, it's just a crazy country, I have to say.
Did you teach young people there? Did you teach students there?
Not, but I got invited now when I was in Dubai now last days. I got invited to a festival in Pune in November, and now I have to see if I will do it, because I always wanted to go back to India, and there's a wonderful festival, and I was teaching on this festival online the last 2 years. I gave a master class on Zoom, which worked quite nice, and now they invited me. They want me to come, and in the same period, a week after, I got invited to a festival in Ghana, in Accra. And that is also a place where I really would love to go. I mean, I don't really know Black Africa. I have been, in Morocco on tour. And that was also a very, very great country to be and to play. We played many performances in a whole Morocco.
Which group was that you were with when you did that?
It was Ton und Kirchen Wandertheater.
Yeah. So that theater, you toured many places with that theater, it seems.
Yes. That is really a great company. Really, I really love this country.
Tell us a little bit more about that company. What did you do with them?
They are really a company which is traveling. I mean, it's like a real traveling theater company, and it's
like their name. They were. Like their name, the Wandering Theater, yeah.
The Wandering Theater, absolutely, yeah. And they're coming out of Futsban Traveling Theater, which is a famous British and now in France based theater company. And they inherited, after when the wall broke down in Germany, they inherited or got back a place directly at a lake outside of Berlin, 50 kilometers outside of Berlin. And they are like the wagon, like the caravans, and you are like living at this lake in caravans. It's very, very beautiful. It's really extremely beautiful. And had a big truck, and I have also a truck license, so I got employed also as a driver, as an actor and driver. And what I really so much loved about this company is that you do everything. You act, you drive the truck, you are a technician, you cook together, you totally live theater. And I did this for 5 years with this company, and we played good productions and toured always through Europe. But then we went also to Korea and to Colombia and to different countries and to Morocco.
It looked like from the work that there were actors of many different ages in the group. Like there was some older actors with much experience, and then some younger people. There was a mix of. Is that true? There was a mix of experience levels and.
Yeah. I mean, when I started, we had the founder. They are older generation, maybe James, sorry to say it, more your generation. I don't know, a little bit.
Why be sorry? Why be sorry?
Yeah, a little bit older, and they had around this people. Yeah, you're right. Different ages and different cultures. We had when I started, we had an Indian actor who is a Japanese woman, a Colombian actor. French and Spanish, like different people from different cultures, different languages. And the beautiful thing about this company is that we played outside. We created always a whole set, a theater outside. The truck was the trailer of the truck was part of the stage, and we had the seating, the technique, everything, the garderobe, everything was in this truck, and we were traveling through Europe, playing everywhere, and on marketplaces, on festivals in south of France and Italy and Sardinia. It was really very, very beautiful time.
So this is much like the archetype of the theater in the beginning, I mean, this is like a Commedia dell'arte troupe or something like this.
Yeah, it was also like the style of the theater was very popular theater, like with masks and lots of movement and choreography and live music. We had always live musicians. So the first play I was in was Faust, but not the Faust by Goethe, the Faust by Christopher Marlowe. And it was there were devils in it, and the musician had like chains going over tubes and fire and masks. And it was like really like
There's a use of puppetry too, large puppets and
yes, we had also Sissel war like fighting puppets and so a mix of different theater languages together.
So that this international soup is like the life of theater. I'm thinking, I would imagine that the Dimitri School wants to continue its presence worldwide in terms of an option for young people to come and study, correct? I mean,
absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
What's the goal of the Dimitri? I mean, where does Dimitri, is there a 10-year plan or a 15-year plan? Or like, where does Dimitri School want to go? Or is there any specific thing you want to tell our viewers? So it's so
funny because
will find its way to Verscho.
No, it's so funny because I had a meeting today before coming here to our podcast in Lugano, where the directions of the SUPSI, because we are affiliated to the SUPSI, which is the University of Ticino, and the Dimitri Academia is affiliated to this part. And they were also trying to talk about 10 years plans. And we said, sorry, but it's just at the moment very, very difficult to everybody. I mean, we cannot make any, I think, we cannot make at the moment. We cannot make 10 years, 15 years plans. We have to make like short plans, which are very, very flexible, and we have to adapt to a always changing world. So for sure, I hope totally that in 10 years we will have many students. We will not be in Verscho anymore. Most probably, we will be on a different place, which will be much bigger because we are growing. We have more students. We have more things we will offer as courses.
Same read. You want to be in the
sure. Yeah. Just on the other side of the river. There's a big military caserne, and we might get it in 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
There will be a big campus which has lots of space where you can be very creative, and you have no neighbors, and you have the river, and maybe the film school is coming. So that, and we are hopefully living in a world where hopefully politicians will see that art is something very important for a society, for the survival of a society. And we don't have politicians which are just thinking about Corona rules and trying to save the world with money. But you have intelligent people who really believe in arts, because arts has this strength, and the strengths in art was always very important in crisis moments of society, and we have a really very, very strong crisis moment now.
Yeah, they always say great art springs from the crisis moments. What about the International Theater Institute? I assume they're having the same challenges, would you say?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, we had just now huge discussion how to react on the war. And we have people that wanted to be solidarity with the Ukrainians, and we had a huge discussion. And luckily, we said no. We are an international, worldwide institution. Organization, and now they are also bombing the Turkish army, the Kurdish population. In Afghanistan is war, in Burkina Faso is war. There are many wars at the same time, and we are for peace. We are against aggression by one Russian dictator. But we support Russian artists. I mean, it's crazy that you have countries where they're forbid to play music by Tchaikovsky. They stopped an opera in Madrid because there was music from Tchaikovsky. I mean, it's totally crazy. And for sure, we feel with Ukrainian people it's awful, but we cannot support only Ukraine, for example. So
it's finding a higher ground, like a place that is above it all, that hopefully will nourish a new world. That's what art's supposed to do. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Many of the people that we interview on this podcast, we ask them about the future of the art and what they would recommend to young people. And it's lovely to be talking to a person who has a school, and that we can say, here is a place that you can go to nourish your artistic soul. Can you tell us a little bit about what you look for in a student that comes to study with you?
Good question.
For sure, for somebody who's curious, who has a big curiosity about life. And has this slight artistic sparkle and wish to transform what you see through your curious eyes into an artistic format.
Yeah.
So it's not particularly that they already got certain skills, it's that they're willing to try and learn.
Sure. That's always nice when you get people which have already, they know this and that, and they're brilliant dancers and brilliant acrobat, and they can sing. Sure, that's beautiful, because sure, it's nice.
How do you balance? Sorry, did I interrupt? I was going to say, how do you balance the goal of the spiritual versus the commercial, or not commercial, but one can do art to make money and to have a career, and one can make art to be a better human and to make the world a better place. Is there a philosophy or a balance that the Dimitri School adheres to? I mean, do you emphasize, we're going to place you in a theater, you'll have a job as an actor, or you will become a more whole, contributing human to the world? Or is it both mixed together? That's a hard question, I guess, but
but I think nobody who is interested in commercial will do this school, because when you're such a young person, when you're so young, when you're 18 or 20, and you think about money and gain money, and it's important, then you don't go do Dimitri School. You go and study law, or you become economics. You go to Dubai and you make business.
Yeah. So in other words, there's the profile of the Dimitri School is not to promote that you'll be making this money, or you'll be in this company after you graduate. That's not touched upon at all. Yeah. Good.
Not at all. But sure, there's a moment where they realize, and it's quite late, it's during the third year, where they realize, shit, the ending is coming, and I have to start now to think about to earn money, because maybe my parents, they told me these 3 years we will pay you, or the parents have no money and they had to rent the money at not a law take a loan mortgage, I don't know how you say.
Yeah.
And then they start to be a little bit scared, frightened sometimes. And
do you have students that stick around Verscho for a long time after? I mean, not a long time, but do you have people that are so, wrapped in the magic of the place? Do they stick around and live in the community for a while? Or make a home base out of it? Yeah.
They go or come back, like me. I came back. Some they never went back, and they always stayed and founded their family there. And now but the problem is now it's very difficult to stay here when you are not Swiss. I mean, now I became Swiss now, but it was really hard work, and I could do it only after 10 years, having a contract, paying my taxes and stuff like that. And now then I applied, and it was a big thing. And as I said to you before, luckily I didn't know what it meant before.
You didn't know what you were getting into there.
When I first went to Verscho in 1977, there in Switzerland for the first time. Switzerland was the first country in Europe I ever went to as a young man, and I remember there was no graffiti anywhere. And then I remember going to Verscho even, or to other places in Switzerland, like maybe, I haven't been there in a while, but maybe let's say 15 years ago, and there was graffiti. It's so interesting how, things change through history, through time. But in, the outside world, I always thought of Switzerland as this, like you say, a paradise in this beautiful place. But suddenly the outside, grime was coming in somewhat. So, so hopefully the Dimitri School can be this special place and continue to be so, where people can find some beautiful energy.
Yes, it has really huge potential. This place. It has a good place. It's a good energy, good teacher, good pedagogy, and we are also adapting now to the time. We're changing many things. We have a very good new head of the program, of the bachelor and master program. She's young. She's bringing a new experience. She's coming from East Germany, and so I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that the world will be a world, how I said before, where young people see this as an important option. To do it and to do it not only as a hobby, but to do it as a profession, because for sure that is where it enters the question of how do I gain money. That's then also the big difference. But and that's something they realize maybe during the studies only. It's a profession. Okay, I really have to think now about how to make money. And so
do you have a sense about legacy? Do you have a personal legacy, or the legacy of the Dimitri School? Do you ever think about that, or is that important to you or not?
How do you mean legacy?
What you leave for the future generations, what people will think about you, or what energy is left that will continue. Does that ever enter your mind? Or like for yourself, like, do you want to be known as what would they write on your tombstone?
That's another one. About me.
What are they going to put in the coffin with you, or on the altar when they burn your body? Whatever.
That I don't know. That's a very good question. I have to think about it. But I really love to be with the students. I mean, that's really something I really like. I really like it, and I like to be together with them, spend time with them, listen and take them very serious, more serious than myself and than my colleagues sometimes, because that's a really challenging moment to meet them, and that's.
I think you hit it on the nail. Like for me, I've taught for over 50 years, and that connection with the students. You probably don't know that Karen was my student in 1977 in an important art school in the United States. So these relationships that you can, still have like decades later, that's a very beautiful thing. That makes
it's a wonderful thing to be a student. I mean, when I was going through your website, I was like, I want to go back to school. I would love to go to the Academy Dimitri and experience all these things that they're doing. So I would highly recommend young people to, explore that option. I think it's, and it's been just a wonderful conversation with you, Daniel. Thank you so much for sharing us about your life and about the school. And yes, I hope things continue to get better for you, for the school, and for the world.
Last question.
Yes.
Last question.
Thank you.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
When I grow up, I want to be a very good. How do you say? Because I love my chicken. And I want to be a very good chicken guard. How do you say?
What? A chicken guard? No.
Take care of your chickens?
That's like me trying
chicken to caretaker.
The caretaker of your chickens?
Yes. No, I love our animals here in the garden.
Your flock?
Your flock. You want to tend the flock.
Tend the flock.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a great idea.
I think that's what he's trying to say.
Thank you so much, Daniel. This has been wonderful.
Thank you very much.
And you're welcome. Thank you very much.
That was Daniel Bausch from the Dimitri School, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll see you next time on the Mime Radio Show.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Mime Radio Show podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe. Please join us in 2 weeks for an interview with Michelle Matlock.